Prince Edward County, Virginia, the only county in America that closed its public schools rather than integrate them.
Here in Prince Edward County, there was this huge gap in what was being offered to white students versus what was being offered to the black students.
They were tar paper shacks, really the equivalent of chicken shacks. They were all heated by these big stoves in the middle of the classroom that would spew coal on kids from time to time. In 1951, a black high school student, Barbara Johns, thought that she and her fellow students deserved better. So she led a walkout to protest the conditions of the schools.
3/4 of the plaintiffs in Brown versus the Board of Education were students and families from Prince Edward County who were involved in the strike.
While the landmark Brown v. Board decision in 1954 made school segregation illegal, it was clear that some southern districts would resist.
The American Federation of Teachers passed a resolution basically saying the federal government should set aside funds to open up integrated schools. They knew that there would be certain counties throughout the South that would rather shut down their public schools than to integrate. And lo and behold, the next year, in Prince Edward County, Virginia, public schools were shut down.
The Board of Supervisors voted not to fund the schools. The schools were locked and chained.
They had a strategy where you could close the public schools, perpetuate segregation by running segregated academies, authorize that state funds be allocated in the form of vouchers.
In essence, the state was really supporting a separate private school district only for white kids.
I felt very sad because I've always loved school, and that was a very big part of my life.
The first year, oh man, we ain't got to go to school. Okay, you enjoy it, but all of a sudden something began to click. Something is not right. The white children, they're going to school. Why I'm not going?
Former black teachers set up makeshift schools in their houses or church basements, and some families made the difficult choice to send their children away for school.
I had never been at an overnight stay with anyone. The saddest part about it was that I had to leave my only brother behind, and that has bothered me for all of my life.
In the 80s, 90% of the black children in this county did not receive a formal education during those years that schools were closed.
Went back to the farm, sharecropping with my dad and so forth. They kept having hope that school would open next month, next year. But here's where you're going to school a little while, you're going in a little while, and that little while turned into 5 years. They ain't never had intended to open it up.
The American Federation of Teachers sent Richard Parrish down to Prince Edward County to investigate to see what was going on. And they came up with that idea of sending teachers during the summer to help children learn as quickly as possible to get ready for schools that might open someday.
The UFT sent 50 teachers with 16 students from Queens College to teach over 600 students in what they called freedom schools.
It was a single one-room schoolhouse, and we put in some tables and chairs, so it was a very informal situation.
Some of the students that had not been to school at all didn't know how to write their name or read or whatever.
They'd never held a book in their hand. One young man who didn't know what letters were about. If you saw this connection of lines, a word could come out, and it's a word that you used. I kept hearing from the kids, "There goes Fly," and I finally said, "Who's Fly?" And they said, "Him, he flies out the window when things aren't interesting." He was a good monitor for me to make sure that things were kept interesting.
It was a sacrifice for a lot of them to even be in this community, to be able to work with us, because it was teachers that were run off and scared off.
But many of them had a kind of warmth. I think it's significant to the kids that know that people from big places like New York City knew something about their plight.
These teachers was so loving, and I think they understood what we were going through.
The biggest thing it did, though, was to restore hope.
What's groundbreaking is this is the AFT's first community involvement on a larger scale that laid the groundwork for more community involvements for the AFT and a number of its locals during the 60s and 70s.
The program ended when schools opened for black students in the fall, but the Freedom School model was replicated the following year as part of Freedom Summer in Mississippi. Over 90 teachers from Detroit and New York City volunteered. The Detroit Federation of Teachers also ran a training academy for student volunteers, and AFT members helped develop the curriculum.
We hope to find and develop and mold local leadership among the young people.
The whole idea of how we're going to make this a better world for everyone really was the core of the curriculum, and it connected to dance, to music, to writing, to politics, to history. The white school board had systematically denied those options to the students, and part of what we were able to do was not only teach those courses, but talk to the students about why they had been denied those things. The whole idea of what we were doing was to establish a relationship with the students. That aspect, probably more than any other, influenced me as a teacher.
The children in their segregated schools had no art classes or materials, so they spent a lot of time there. I got a postcard from one of them. He said, "I'm still drawing and I'm going to keep drawing, Donna."
Just as AFT tried to right the wrong that was happening in Prince Edward County, our union has continually fought for civil rights. Our work with the Latino Hispanic community is a natural continuation of that.
The teachers in this country proudly support dignity and respect for all immigrants.
We've been focusing on the need for immigration reform, not just in advocating for a change in the law, but engaging with those communities, with our students, with their parents. And now I love that we have documented teachers among our ranks.
President Barack Obama announced the executive action which gave undocumented students deferred action and a work permit. And I began working at Rodriguez. This was my dream. I wanted to go back to a school where I could help students who came from the same community that I came from.
When I asked her, "Hey, are you gonna be part of the union?" And she was like, "Yes." She's becoming this amazing union leader.
We do the DACA clinics, which we are trying to get more people that are legal residents to come out and fill out the application, and then getting those same people to vote to get policies that are gonna support our schools. I'm very proud that I'm part of a union that is one of the pioneers.